This is probably going to be the most important video on my YouTube channel, which is 11 years old and has over 1,200 videos on it. I want to reach as many people as possible with this video because I can't believe I still see this happen every year. It's spring 2025 as I'm filming this, and every year I see swimming pool owners destroy their swimming pool, making a huge, colossal mistake, which is totally avoidable. I don't even ever really know how this got started as a thing, but we're going to deal with it in this video and you're going to help me to do so. So what I'm talking about here is the idea of draining your swimming pool. And I'm going to account for every type of pool: above ground pools, vinyl liner pools, fiberglass pools, and concrete pools. Let's get going. So above ground pools, sometimes you drain and refill them because you have to, or for reasons beyond your control perhaps. But the reality is this is kind of like a portable temporary pool, and if it gets damaged in the process, which eventually it will, because as the pool gets older, it weathers that process of draining and refilling less well every year. The elasticity from all the plastic and liner products have kind of been lost by about year 5. And so as a result, when you drain and refill, it doesn't really work for you. Something stretches where it shouldn't or bulges where it shouldn't, breaks, and ultimately you need to get a new pool. That's above ground pools. In-ground pools is a different thing because you can't just get a new pool. Like, unless you're Scrooge McDuck, you can't just get a new pool. So you put yourself into an awful, terrible situation if you drain your pool incorrectly. So I'm going to start by saying this. I think what happens here is you see swimming pools being drained. The guy across the street was doing it because he was getting a new liner or a new plaster on his pool. It was drained and you're like, well, I'm just going to drain my pool. And that's how you break your pool permanently. No swimming pools are designed to be drained. The least damaging ones, the ones that like you don't want to drain them, but if you do, sucks for you, versus like you're going to lose so much you can't imagine, is a vinyl liner pool. So a vinyl liner pool, the real risk here primarily is just the liner, the interior surface. And the reason why is a liner pool is designed to be held in place. The liner is held in place by a vacuum. Suction holds it exactly where you put it. An installer physically places it where they want it with a vacuum to hold it in place, and then you fill it up. And usually like about 6 inches to a foot of water in the shallow end is considered the safe amount of water for a vinyl liner pool, where you can turn off the vacuums without having the whole liner shift. Like the deep end just pulls the shallow end away from the wall, and so that's why you need water in a vinyl liner pool. If you drain your vinyl liner pool completely, the liner is going to shift and move around. Further, the liner has shrunk since it was first installed. It's exposed to UV, chemical damage, things like that, and the polymers used inside of the liner itself, about year 5, maybe year 7 for an in-ground pool, because they use higher quality vinyl for in-ground versus above ground pool liners. Around year 7, there's no elasticity left. It's like a rubber band that's been left out in the sun. So when you drain and refill it, even partial draining and refilling, you can get some shifting and you can get in trouble. If you drain it all the way, you're almost certainly going to have a part where the liner around a flange, like a return jet or the stairs, will pull away. It'll rip because it can't stretch, so it just rips. And you've cost yourself a new liner, which is like a few $1,000s, and it's really bad, and you don't want to have that. So don't drain your vinyl liner pool, and if you do, be aware that there's kind of a minimum amount, depending on your pool style, that you can more safely drain. But you should never fully drain an in-ground vinyl liner swimming pool unless you have vacuums holding the liner in place. Moving on to the real problems. These are the real heartbreakers here: fiberglass pools and concrete swimming pools. You can't drain these pools. Don't drain these pools. And again, you saw your neighbor Bob with his fiberglass pool or his concrete pool doing whatever, and you think maybe you can do it. And maybe you can, or maybe a specialist like myself can, because there's maybe more going on than you realize. Like maybe Bob across the street has a robust system installed for which to control the groundwater around his swimming pool. Like that's something I would have on a swimming pool with a high groundwater table in my area. I would install sump wells and things like this, and so I can run pumps to keep the water table locally right around the pool as low as possible during times when I'm servicing, renovating, installing a new line, or doing an interior surface, things like that. And further to that, that's a concrete pool. Kind of a fiberglass pool, you're kind of not supposed to ever drain them. That's kind of the deal. Like they both concrete and fiberglass pools require weight in them. the weight of the water in them, to hydrostatically balance them in the ground. Otherwise, what they are, if you can picture it in your mind, is taking a beach ball and trying to hold it underwater. It's very hard to do. The concrete pool holds underwater a little easier because it's massively heavy. A fiberglass pool is not massively heavy, and if you start to drain one and you have a high water table, it's going to start to bulge, it's going to start to bow, it might crack, and it might lift out of the ground. If a concrete pool or a fiberglass pool lifts out of the ground because you have drained the water in it, not accounting for the fact that there's a massive hydrostatic force pushing upwards on this pool, that pool is broken permanently. And we're talking like the cost of an entire swimming pool demolition plus the cost of an entire swimming pool installation to replace it. This is the actual worst thing that I can imagine. I cannot imagine being a homeowner thinking you're doing a good thing. Pool's a little green, I'm gonna just drain it out and like give it a scrub or whatever you're thinking, and your swimming pool breaks permanently and lifts out of the ground. It must be an actual waking nightmare to experience this and slowly realize that you've done this. Like, I'll give you a real life example here. So in my area, there's a particularly affluent area, and that area happens to be beachfront, as it commonly is. And there's a great big concrete pool. It can't be 100 feet from open water from Lake Ontario. And that pool, they contacted me because they wanted it drained and cleaned early in the spring. And I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not draining that pool in the spring. I don't even care if it's got provisions for controlling the groundwater. If I were to dig, let's say maybe 12 inches, 15 inches into the ground, right adjacent to that pool, I'm probably going to find water. It's just like being at the beach, right? And digging down and finding water. There's so much groundwater underneath there. To drain that pool would be so risky. And here's the point of this anecdotal case here, is that that pool can only be drained in the hottest, driest parts of the year. And you better pray that you don't get at a season storm or monsoon type thing roll through, because you've got a problem on your hands if you do. And there's, if you're knowledgeable about pools, you're probably aware that there's provisions. There's usually holes in the bottom of main drains for fiberglass pools, concrete pools, and they have what's called collector tubes in them and a hydrostatic relief valve, which is a spring-loaded one-way valve, which when there is an abnormal amount of pressure pushing upwards, instead of lifting the pool, it opens this spring valve and it allows some of that water into the pool. If you were to ever stand there and see it actually happening, you'd just see a little cloud of dirt and dirty water just kind of by the main drain suddenly, and that's what's happening, is it's equalizing itself. But that's like 1.5 inch port in the bottom of, like, I don't know, a 30,000 gallon swimming pool. If you have a lot of hydrostatic pressure, like, I don't know, man, I would not want to just count on that. I know in some areas, and some areas I've worked, Richmond, British Columbia is very, very high water tables, and very commonly they are in other areas as well. You can't even wait to remove that hydrostatic relief valve from the bottom of the pool. You have to be drilling holes into the floor of the pool as it's draining, lest it's probably going to lift out of the ground. So a professional knows what time of year to drain a pool. They know what areas of town have bad problems with high water tables. They know things about controlling water tables with sump wells and things like that. And most pool people, like myself, I'm pretty sure other pool people would agree with this, we're kind of weather specialists, right? We deal with a lot of things that are weather related. Like, first of all, I don't want to get hit by lightning while I'm scooping something out of a pool with a 20-foot long metal pole. There's that, and then just working in inclement weather, and you got to pour concrete, and you better be a whiz with knowing if it's going to rain or not if you're going to be pouring concrete. So this kind of stuff, all of it comes together to create this situation where a professional knows better than you how and when to drain a pool. Like, I'm not trying to be exclusive or elitist. I'm trying to protect you. I'm trying to protect your investment in your swimming pool and reach every last swimming pool owner. Like, please, we could stop this. We could stop tens of millions of dollars of damage a year happening to swimming pool owners, and these poor people that are just crying the blues, deservedly so, because they are now going to experience something terrible because they drained their pool, not understanding it's a more nuanced process than just drain it and do what you want. Some pools you can't drain, some pools you can't drain at a certain time of year, some have to be drained through a very specific process, and all of them unanimously are the same. I always tell people this: if you drain a pool, your goal is empty for as little time as possible. Drain it, do your thing, get it filled again. A full pool is a safe pool. When you start draining it, you can definitely get into trouble. So